Things are getting increasingly intense and frantic in Foxborough. Mike Vrabel and his entire coaching staff are consistently and surgically demonstrating that they are playing chess at a level far above the rest of the league, while others are still trying to understand the rules of checkers. We have a lot of ground to cover today, from a master signing, a stroke of genius that went unnoticed by many of us, to crucial injury updates, the mentality imposed by Josh McDaniels, and the domino effect that Nico Collins' situation is having on our plans. This roadmap is packed with vital information for any fan who lives and breathes the colors of our franchise. So get ready to delve deep into every detail of this preparation for the divisional round. If you want to follow all the news about the New England Patriots every day and don't want to miss any detail of this epic NFL playoff run, this is the place for you. Subscribe to the channel now. Activate notifications to be the first to know about new developments, and of course, smash that like button. You don't need to break your phone or laptop, but give it a firm click to strengthen our community. Comment below with your expectations for this game. Your participation is what drives our coverage and keeps the flame of our support burning in the pursuit of another historic victory at Gillette Stadium. The first thing we need to highlight, and which is truly intriguing, is the detailed tactical move made by the organization. It's something that I confess I overlooked at first, but it reveals a lot about the intelligence of our management. We are always analyzing the players who arrive, and yesterday we talked a lot about Darrell Taylor and the great implications of his arrival. There's a very high probability that he will be promoted to the 53-man roster, bringing that necessary vigor. But if we look at the records from a few days ago, specifically on the 13th, we saw the renewal of Miles Battle, which is a smart move in itself. However, at the end of the list, we find the name of Trent Sherfield Sr. Many people may think it's just another name for the practice squad, but in New England, there's always a method behind the decisions. Sometimes we look at players on the practice squad and just see names, but Mike Vrabel sees strategic assets. Darrell Taylor offers not only situational pressure and an important piece for the rotation. If activated, he offers knowledge. And that's exactly where Sherfield comes into play. If we look at Sherfield's raw statistics, they don't immediately jump out at you. He had an above-average year in 2022 with the Dolphins and went through the Bills. But the key point is that most recently this year, he was with the Denver Broncos. Mike Vrabel and his team are playing chess, looking for checkmate. Sherfield was originally on Arizona's practice squad. His contract expired. He became a free agent, and just a day later, the Patriots snapped him up. Do we need a wide receiver now? Maybe not urgently on the main roster, where we have solid names like Jeremiah Webb and John Giles, who is that physical split ball receiver. But the search for Sherfield, as well as Taylor's situation, is our ace in the hole to obtain valuable information before we move on to the decisive moments of the season. This pursuit of information and intelligence is what differentiates an ordinary franchise from a dynasty. When you bring in someone who knows the schemes of direct rivals, you gain a competitive advantage that doesn't show up on receiving yard spreadsheets. It's Patriots tactical analysis in its purest and most relentless form. While the discussion about Nico Collins and his absence gains momentum, we are strengthening ourselves behind the scenes, ensuring that every piece on our board knows exactly where the opponent will try to attack. This peripheral vision of sports management is what gives us optimism. It's not just about physical talent, it's about being smarter than the opponent. And with the real performance data we have, it's clear that the preparation is being done down to the smallest detail so that Gillette Stadium will erupt with another stellar performance from our team. Moving on to the coaching staff, Josh McDaniels offered a very clear perspective on what Drake May's top priority should be right now. We all understand that Drake is still young and that in the NFL, even the most experienced quarterbacks make fatal mistakes. The big issue is that often the quarterback adopts that hero mentality, trying to carry the world on his shoulders. We've seen countless times players trying to force passes into non-existent windows or holding the ball too long in the pocket, which ends up resulting in disastrous turnovers. Josh McDaniels was direct in saying that Drake knows what the priority is, taking care of the ball. The goal for this week is simple and efficient. Finish each drive with some kind of kick, whether it's an extra point or a field goal. It's about chasing points, having the patience to let the game come to us, just like we did in the close game against the Chargers, who have an elite defense. This philosophy of playing safe is what gives us confidence for the clash against the Texans, a team that also has a dominant defense and will demand maximum intelligence from our offense. And speaking of comfort and safety, the news coming from the medical department is the fuel the fans needed. Looking at the list of injured players, we see names like Christian Gonzalez, Argonzo, appearing as a full participant in training. He finally got rid of the dreaded red non-contact jersey, which is a huge sign that he will be on the field to patrol the secondary. Between him and Nico Collins' situation on the other side, the balance is tipping heavily in our favor. Gonzo is on track to play, while Collins, after that brutal impact on the field against the Steelers, is on a much more uncertain path. In addition to him, Terrell Jennings and Tonga were also full participants, showing that the New England Patriots are in excellent physical shape for this divisional round. The tide is rising for us at the most critical time of the year. We still have a lot of football ahead of us in these 2026 NFL playoffs, and the depth of our roster will be tested. That's why moves like Darrell Taylor's make so much sense. He brings that hunger of someone who knows the opponent, and his likely promotion to the main roster could be the difference in troubling CJ Stroud throughout the 4 quarters. Every detail, every full participation in practice builds the path to victory. And if we're talking about making an impact, we can't ignore what's happening in the heart of our defensive line. There's a reason the organization invests heavily in talents like Milton Williams and Christian Barmore. They don't just play, they sow chaos. Barmore and Williams are registering the highest pressure rates among defensive tackles in the league, and watching them in action is a spectacle of strength and technique. If you watch what Milton Williams did against the Chargers, you'll see a player throwing opponents and executing club and swim moves with frightening ease. Christian Barmore's stats confirm he's a force of nature, and when the two are in sync, no offensive line can breathe. We even need a nickname for this duo because what they do is legendary. As we approach Sunday, Nico Collins' absence due to injury seems increasingly inevitable for Houston. He is the epicenter of the Texans' offense, and his loss would be catastrophic for their strategy. Without Collins, the burden falls on Christian Kirk and young players like Jaden Higgins, who has been on the Patriots' radar since his college days. But the truth is, without his main weapon, Stroud will have to deal with suffocating internal pressure and a secondary reinforced by Gonzalez's return. The Texans remind me a lot of that Jets team from the Mark Sanchez era, a solid defense, but with an offense that relies too heavily on specific players who are now out of action. All of this makes us extremely optimistic. The Patriots' tactical analysis for this game involves neutralizing Stroud's outlets and letting our twin towers of pressure do the rest. Mike Vrabel's tactical prowess and Josh McDaniels' discipline are key to dismantling Houston's plan. The stage is set at Gillette Stadium Divisional Round for a memorable afternoon. Our preparation has been superior, our strategy has been smarter, and our roster is peaking at the right time. Now, I want to know from you, what's your prediction for the final score? Do you believe our defense will manage a shutout, or will May have to shine in the final quarter? Leave your opinion below. This was another deep dive into the universe of our franchise. Stay tuned because the coverage doesn't stop here. I'm Renan, and this is your channel for everything about the most victorious team in history. New England Patriots news, Patriots versus Texans playoffs, Mike Vrabel tactics, Drake May, ball protection, Christian Barmore stats, Milton Williams pressure, Christian Gonzalez return, Nico Collins injury, Trent Sherfield Sr, Patriots Josh McDaniels, Patriots Gillette Stadium, Divisional Round, Darrell Taylor, Patriots NFL Playoffs 2026, Tactical Analysis, Patriots Pats Nation YouTube.